Hi everyone. I was looking at getting a dice tray for playing board games. The ones that looked really best I thought were round ones. They kind of had a style to them, I think. But the ones I saw on Amazon were like $20, and more than some expansions really. So I saw some DIY stuff on YouTube, making square ones and finding sort of rectangular octagonal boxes and so forth. But no one really had a round one. So I just finally went off to Target to see if I could find a frame or a shadow box or something to make one for myself. And I came across this for only $5. It is a wall clock. Actually has a glass front. This seems to be plastic. So I thought, well, that might be the perfect thing. It's certainly the right price to turn this into a round dice tray. So let's see what we got. All right, but there's actually little clips on four sides here that really all you need to do is get your finger in. I say, there we go. So anyway, here we go. That's the plastic frame. Here's a piece of glass. It's actually bigger than it needs to be for the felt, so that's not really going to be a good template. And what we have here, I guess, is this might be a decent template to use. I should be able to get that out. So here's the clock piece. I'm going to sort of just lift up on that and they come off real easily. As for this thing, I imagine it should just pop right out. Maybe another little clip, yeah, there. And here. You might use a little screwdriver for this, but I think I can pop it out, yeah. So that's gone. That's usable for something else. Turns out that they actually used an adhesive to glue this in, so it'll probably be easier just to put the stuff over it. Okay, so what I did next is I went to Michael's, which is a craft store in the States, and I picked up some felt. This is just regular felt, it's not the stiffened felt. I guess it's to your preference whether you want it or not. And it's adhesive on the back. I also picked up some a foam sheet, which is not very thick, but it's actually just sort of a little bit of foam. And if anything, I could put it underneath. They're both adhesive, so I should be able to adhese one on the other. Okay, so cutting this, I need a template, and since I can't get this out, I did notice that the frame here is actually slightly smaller than this ridge, and it seems to be a good fit. Okay, so I'm back. I've got scissors, got a flat surface, I've got this lined up. I'm going to line it up on the bottom. The reason being so I can have as much extra if I need strips or something like around the edges or something fancy later on. Okay, so that came out, and I did notice that it is actually a little bit too small, believe it or not. It's about the same size as the white paper, but it's actually quite a bit small, really. So what I might try to do here is I might try to trace with the pen sort of tilted in slightly, maybe, and give me a little bit extra. We'll see. Okay, so it's kind of difficult to draw with the pen kind of at an angle because it wants to lift this up and then it starts sliding. So if you can have a second pair of hands to hold the other side while you do it, that's even better. And I don't know if you can see the little line, but it made only a tiny bit of difference as to that the circle is actually slightly larger than this. It turns out this is right up against the edge, so it's not perfectly round, but it does come right up to the edge, and I think it actually, by luck, is a good fit. So now it's just a matter of peeling off this backing and setting it in place. Now, if I remember correctly from other people's craft advice, is you don't peel the whole thing off at first. you let it, you make sure you set the part that isn't peeled back in to make sure everything's right. And then once everything seems to be lined up, then you press down where the adhesive is, and you lift up on the other side and peel. That basically lets you get it to the right spot, and then you peel this back and then ease it down that way. So now you have that in place. And you do the same with this. Again. Right, let me put this thing back together and see what it sounds like. Okay, again, on I guess the quarter hours, what they used to be, there's little snaps or whatever, you snap it right under there. And it's just plastic on plastic kind of thing. There we go, everybody's in place. Put that on the table. And instead of hearing this, we're now hearing this. Oh no! That works. I'm not throwing it all the way through. Pretty good. I just need to put some felt along here maybe. Okay, this is what I've done. A couple of modifications. One is, this had a little lip that hangs over, and hangs over this part here. And it was making a lot of noise when the dice hit. But there's also like a little piece of trim that was basically gave you a line that went all the way around in the circle. And what I did was I sort of shaved it back, back to that line, and that puts it right at the, you know, puts it further back, so when you roll the dice they don't actually hit so hard. Another thing I've done is I'm starting to put some felt, just felt, along here. The idea being is you want this to be right at the edge here and not going below it, but also not going over it, because this is going to sit right on top. And the way I did that basically is I took a sheet of the felt and I put it down, pushed down on it, you know, to where, not hard, but just to where it would touch the bottom. And then put a little marker right here. And then did that on the other end and in the center. Drew a line. Okay, and here's the last felt strip. It's a smaller strip. It'll be going right there. By the way, if you want to measure that, at least on this clock, the width of this is about 9/16 of an inch, or about 15 millimeters. Oops, where is it? There we go. Again, I sort of put it up there. Get that started. Peel off a little bit more. Make sure it's lined up on the top. A little bit more. Okay, so there we go. There's a dice tray with my, I still need to sand this, but with my shaved edges. And, right, so, here we go. Oops, come on, you can do it. There we go. And, yay, look at that. All right. So there you go. You have a $5 clock from Target. This foam padding, which I did use from Michaels, it was, I think, 90 cents. And oh, I guess the felt was, I think, right at $1, also from Michaels. So for $8 plus labor, your own labor, you have a nice little dice tray. If you want, you can, I was thinking about maybe even you could, if you were good at plastic cutting, you could sort of make sort of 4 legs out of it, so you can get your finger under it, you know, when you want to pick it up. And also maybe put like a little some kind of rubberized, I don't know, maybe like a little length of rubberized tube could sort of clamp on like this, you know, and give it like a rubber foot. Anyway, there you go, dice tray, $7.